Alright, welcome back folks. This is episode 3 of Discord.net version 3 bot tutorial. Today we're going to be covering setting up ping commands using both a slash and prefix command. So to start off, prefix commands and slash commands both use handlers. That is the name that we give to the little bit of code that receives the events from Discord and distributes or sets the code path accordingly. We're going to be writing one of each today. Then we'll be writing the module for these ping slash command. Then we'll write the module for the ping prefix command. So I'm going to right click the project and we're going to add a class and name it interaction handler. Gonna make it public. And we're gonna set our usings that we'll be needing. Alright, so we're using Discord, discord.interactions, discord.websocket, and system.reflection. We're going to be using constructor injection to get the Discord socket client interaction service and the service container. And here's our constructor for the interaction handler class. Next, we're going to write the initialize async method. What this is going to do is add the slash command modules that we'll be writing in a moment and subscribe to the interaction created event that Discord sends out when somebody uses interaction, like a slash command, button, select menu, or modal. So there's the add module. And here is the interaction created event. We're going to write the handle interaction method now. Alright, so this takes a socket interaction because that is what the interaction created event is going to supply. So this is creating the context that we can use within the interaction modules, whether it be slash commands, buttons, select menus, or modals. This takes the client and the socket interaction. And execute command async will find our interaction that we put in the module, if it exists, and send it on its way. Lastly, we'll just do a console.write line to catch any errors that pop up. And that's it for the new socket interaction context. That's it for the interaction handler. Next, I'm going to make the prefix handler. I'm going to right-click the project, go to Add Class. We're going to call it Prefix Handler. Can make it public, just like the interaction handler. And we're going to set up the beginning of it similar to how we had the interaction handler. Oops, forgot to set up the usings. So this one's going to use the client. It's going to use the command service, which was the kind of the precursor to the interaction service, except for prefix commands. And we're going to take something new called the configuration root. This will end up storing our prefix that we use in a additional file. we're going to make our constructor. So as we did in the interaction handler, I'm going to make another initialize async, except this one, instead of finding all the commands for us, this will only be used to subscribe to the message received event, which is what all prefix commands use. Now we're going to make an additional method, not actually going to return anything, to add our modules manually. Unlike the interaction service, the command service can't find our commands by itself, so we have to manually add them using a add module async method. Alright, now we're going to write our actual handler for the prefix commands. So like in the interaction handler, the prefix handler, the event sends a socket message, so our handler for those has to receive a socket message. First we're going to do is make sure it's not a system message. By casting it as a socket user message. So if it's a system message, as a socket user message, it'll be null. So if it is in fact null, we'll just skip out. So here we're checking if the message received has the prefix that we set our bot up to listen for. And I'm using the config to get it from my config.yml file. Then we're going to make sure that the message isn't prefixed by pinging the bot, which, by the way, is a way to bypass the message intents. And we're also going to make sure that the author is not a bot. Now we're catching up to where the interaction handler was. We're going to create the context that we can use for the prefix commands. And it's going to take something similar, so the client and the message. So we're going to pass in the context. The prefix. And we're going to set our services as null. And that's it for the prefix handler. Alright, let's write our two modules next. I'm going to right click the package, add folder. Then we're going to right click modules. We're going to add a class. We're going to call one the prefix module that will hold our prefix command. We're going to add another called interaction module. And that will hold our slash command. So for the interaction module, it has to be public, otherwise the add module method can't find it, and it has to inherit the interaction module base. We're going to add using Discord as well. Okay, so this isn't going to use any constructor injection. None is needed. We're just going to simply use the attribute slash command. Our first value is going to be the name of the command. This has to be lowercase. And the second value is going to be the description. And this is just going to be simply await, respond async, and the message we want to send back to the user. So in this case, just ping. And that's as simple as it is for a bare bones basic slash command. And let's head over to the prefix module. Alright, and this is going to be equally as simple. Again, it has to be public. It has to inherit the module base. Except this one's going to take the socket command context. And again, we're going to use a command attribute, which will just simply be the name of the prefix command. Instead of a fancy respond async, I'm choosing to reply to the original message, the original user message, with reply async. I'm going to make the reply the same. And that's it for the prefix module. Alright, we've got a few more small things to do. We have to add some stuff to the program class, and we have to make sure our config.yml file is set up properly. So in our main async method, we're going to create our config. Oops, I forgot to set up our usings. Using Discord interactions, Discord WebSocket. Using Microsoft extensions configuration. Extensions.dependency injection. Extensions.hosting. And extensions.configuration.yml. This will be able to retrieve our configuration data from the YML file that we'll be creating or editing. So we're going to set our base path. We're going to add our YML file. And lastly, we're going to build it. Next, we're going to add as a singleton we're going to add our config. We already have our Discord socket client. So we have to add our interaction service. Which takes the Discord socket client. So we have to pass in our client. Except I can use get requires service and let the container supply the client that we set up in the previous line. Then I'm going to add forgot a parentheses. We're going to add the interaction handler. I'm going to add the command service, which is what the prefix commands use. So I must have forgotten the using Discord commands. And the last one we're going to add is the prefix handler. So that's it for adding services to our container. Next, we're going to get our slash commands. From the interaction service. We're going to get our config from the interaction service, or I'm sorry, the service container. We're going to get our prefix commands. Except this one's going to be coming from the prefix handler and not the command service. We're manually adding our module, which is called the prefix module. Oops, I skipped a line here. We have to initialize our interaction handler. So we can actually access our slash commands. This is the slash command or interaction service version of the add module line here. And the p commands initialize async. Is where it subscribes to the message received event. Alright, we're going to add one more log event, except this one on the slash commands. Oops. We're going to do the same thing for the prefix commands. Oh, never mind. Got a little carried away. And our last step in here is to register our slash commands to our test guild. We're going to do that inside the ready event. Register to guild. And that's it. We should have a bot that we can bring online. Oops. And swap out our bot token for the one in our config file. Alright, here's my config file. I have the prefix I'm going to use. I have the guild ID. And I have my bot token. I've blurred this out, so obviously you can't use it. Oops. Alright, so on my config.yml, I'm going to bring up the properties, copy to output directory, and copy if newer. And we're online. Here I am on Discord. You can see my bot is online here. So let's test our prefix command, which is the prefix and then the name of the command. And nothing. How about our slash command? Okay, slash command worked, the other one did not. But there is a reason for that. It's actually something somewhat newer. In our gateway intents, we have discord.gatewayintents.all_unprivileged. A privileged intent is actually the messages intent. So for the sake of demonstration, I'm going to switch it to all. I'm going to restart the bot. Here we are back at Discord. Still not working. Okay, figured out what I missed. In the prefix handler, I had my parentheses wrong. I had the not, and then I had the message has char prefix, and then I closed the parentheses there. I had the or, and then I had has mentioned prefix. I intended to have both of these within the same group of parentheses, so all of this. That's all I did. So if I try it again, there it is. Good luck, folks. If you have any questions, I'll put a link to this server in the description. You can leave a comment if you have a question, or you can find me around on Discord. I'm somewhat active in the discord.net server as well. See you around. Thanks for watching.